Listen closely, my friends. We have all been there. Someone says something to you recently, and you just did not know how to answer. Maybe it landed while you were completely unprepared. You were just minding your own business, and out of nowhere, they dropped a comment that caught you off guard. Maybe it was designed to embarrass you in front of other people, like a snide remark at a family dinner or a passive-aggressive dig during a meeting at work. Or maybe it was small enough that responding in the moment felt petty, but sharp enough that it still stung. And you probably did exactly what most people do. You did nothing in the moment. You just froze, or you awkwardly changed the subject. But then 3 hours later you are in the shower, or driving in your car, or trying to fall asleep, and your brain starts replaying the conversation on a loop. You imagine the perfect, witty, devastating response that would have shut them down completely, but it arrived far too late to matter. The moment is gone, and you are left feeling frustrated, angry, and powerless. Here is what I want to give you today. I am not going to give you a list of clever comebacks designed to humiliate anyone. I am not going to give you sharp insults dressed up as wisdom. Instead, I am going to give you 7 responses rooted in genuine, ancient Stoic thinking. These responses do something far more effective than winning an argument. They end the argument. Cleanly, they allow you to walk away without needing to raise your voice, without needing to match the other person's toxic energy, and without lying awake at night regretting a single word you said. To understand why this works, we have to look at Marcus Aurelius. He was the emperor of Rome, which means he dealt with difficult, disrespectful people constantly. He was surrounded by senators with hidden agendas, critics with sharp tongues, and people who said things specifically designed to provoke a reaction or make him look weak. What set him apart was not that he always had a brilliant, witty comeback ready on the tip of his tongue. It was that he rarely needed one. He understood a fundamental truth about human nature. He wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." That single idea is the foundation of everything we are about to cover. It means you do not match their anger. You do not escalate the drama. You simply remain so calmly, securely yourself that the other person's attempt to provoke you finds absolutely nothing to grab onto. It is like trying to punch water. Let us look at these 7 responses, one at a time, and how you can use them in your daily life. Reply number 1. That is an interesting way to see it. This is a masterpiece of a response. It offers no agreement, but it also offers no argument. It is just a calm, neutral acknowledgement that leaves absolutely nothing for the other person to push against. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It is not he who reviles or strikes you who insults you, but your opinion that these things are insulting." Think about that. The words themselves are just sound waves in the air. They only have the power to hurt you if you agree with them, or if you feel the need to fight them. Imagine a coworker comes up to your desk and says, "I don't know how you get away with doing your job like that. It's a mess." Your instinct is to defend yourself, to list all your accomplishments, or to fire back with an insult about their own work. But that is exactly what they want. They want a fight. Instead, you look at them calmly and say, "That is an interesting way to see it." Then you go back to your work. You have not agreed with them. You have not apologized. But you have also not given them the fight they were looking for. You have treated their insult like a bizarre, irrelevant opinion, rather than a factual attack on your worth. It acts like a Teflon shield. The insult just slides right off, and the other person is left standing there, looking foolish for having tried to start a conflict that you simply refused to join. Reply number 2, just 2 words. No defensiveness, no long explanation, no need to justify your life choices, your decisions, or your feelings to someone who is clearly not listening to understand, but only listening to reply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Sometimes the strongest, most powerful response is not a rebuttal at all. It is simple, flat acknowledgement. Think about a family member who always has a passive-aggressive comment about your life. Oh, you're still living in that apartment? I guess it's fine for now. If you argue, you validate their comment as something worth debating. If you get angry, you give them the emotional reaction they are secretly fishing for. But if you just look at them and say, I hear you, you completely change the dynamic. I hear you does not mean I agree with you. It just means I have registered the sound coming out of your mouth, and I am choosing not to engage with it. It ends the exchange instantly without giving it any more fuel. It starves the fire of oxygen. And for someone who is trying to provoke you, being met with calm, boring acknowledgement is the most frustrating thing in the world. Reply number 3, you might be right. This response disarms people almost instantly because it is the last thing they expect. Most people who are being rude or critical are bracing for resistance. They are ready for a fight. They have their counter-arguments lined up. When you say, you might be right, you pull the rug out from under them. Epictetus taught that a genuinely wise person is always willing to be shown they are wrong, rather than defending every single position out of sheer pride. Now, does this mean you actually believe they are right about the insult they just hurled at you? No, but saying you might be right costs you absolutely nothing, while it removes the entire foundation the other person was standing on. Imagine someone is aggressively correcting you on a minor, unimportant detail just to feel superior. Actually, it was 1998, not 1999. You always get the dates wrong. Your ego wants to fight back and prove them wrong. But does it matter? No, so you just shrug and say, you might be right. Watch their face. They will often stumble because their entire goal was to get a rise out of you. By showing zero resistance, you show that their attempt to dominate the conversation has failed. You keep your peace, and they are left with their pointless victory. Reply number 4. Why does that matter to you? This is a calm, gentle question asked with genuine curiosity that turns the spotlight right back onto the actual source of the comment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look beneath the surface. Never let a person's true worth, or lack of it, escape you." Often, disrespect says far more about the person delivering it than it does about you. People who are happy, secure, and confident do not go around making snide, disrespectful comments to others. That behavior almost always comes from insecurity, jealousy, or a bad day that they are unfairly taking out on you. When someone makes a rude comment about your life choices, your appearance, or your career, instead of defending yourself, simply ask, why does that matter to you? Say it calmly. Do not say it with anger or sarcasm. Say it like you are genuinely trying to understand their thought process. Wow, you gained weight. Response: why does that matter to you? You're still single at your age. Response: why does that matter to the conversation we're having? This question quietly makes their rudeness visible without you having to accuse them of being rude. It forces them to either awkwardly backtrack, "Oh, I was just joking," or reveal their true ugly intentions. Either way, you remain perfectly calm, and they are the one who has to explain their bad behavior. Reply number 5. I am not going to argue about this. This response is calm, final, and completely without drama. It is a boundary, stated as a simple fact. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." When we are provoked, our brains want to react instantly. We want to fire back. But this reply creates that crucial delay instantly. It closes the door on escalation without slamming it. Imagine you are in a discussion with a friend or partner, and it starts to cross the line from a healthy debate into personal attacks. They bring up something from 3 years ago to win the current argument, instead of yelling, "That has nothing to do with this," or attacking them back. You simply state, "I am not going to argue about this." Then you stop talking. You do not add a because. You do not add a and you always do this. You just state the boundary and stop. This shows immense self-control. It communicates that you value your peace of mind more than you value winning this specific interaction. It is a mature, powerful way to protect your energy. Reply number 6. Okay. Sometimes The most powerful response is the shortest one. Just one word delivered calmly. Okay communicates that whatever was said simply did not land the way it was intended to. It is the verbal equivalent of a shrug. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That power is on full display in a single unbothered word. Think about someone trying to start drama with you over a text message. They send a long, angry paragraph full of accusations. Your fingers are hovering over the keyboard, ready to type out a massive defense. Instead, you just type okay. It is not a sarcastic, drawn-out okay. It is a flat, neutral okay. It means, I have received your message, I have processed it, and I am choosing not to engage with the toxicity. It is incredibly frustrating for a toxic person to pour their heart out in anger, only to be met with a simple okay. It shows them that they do not control your emotional state. Reply number 7. Silence. Followed by a change of subject. This is the ultimate power move. No reply at all, delivered with complete, unbothered calm, followed by simply moving the conversation somewhere else entirely. Epictetus taught that the wise person does not feel the need to respond to every single provocation. Imagine you are at a party or a gathering, and someone makes a rude, inappropriate joke at your expense, expecting everyone to laugh. The room goes quiet, waiting to see how you will react. Instead of getting angry, instead of making a self-deprecating joke to ease the tension, you just look at them in silence for 2 or 3 seconds. Let the awkwardness hang in the air. Let them feel the weight of their own rude comment. Then, you turn to someone else in the room and say, "Anyway, as I was saying about the movie last night," you completely ignore the bait. This is the ultimate demonstration of Stoic principle. You are not silent because you had nothing to say. You are silent because you decided the comment was not worth your time, your breath, or your energy. It shows that you are entirely in control of the conversation, and you are choosing to steer it away from their negativity. If this gave you something worth remembering, share it with someone who needed a better response the last time someone tried to provoke them. Let them know they have the power to choose how they respond. New Stoic wisdom every single week.